Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Pure Ambition podcast. Today we are diving right into it, talking all things metabolic health and the steps that I have taken to heal my metabolism over the past couple of years. But before we get into the meat and potatoes of the episode, if you guys have not yet subscribed to the channel or given a 5-star rating and review if you're listening on whatever platform, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, if you could take 2 seconds to do that, it would mean the world. Now, we are diving into it. Metabolic health. And this is a word that I think gets thrown around a lot in the world of health and wellness, fitness. You see it everywhere, but do you really know what metabolic health is? Do you really know what a metabolism is and what the metabolism does? Because honestly, I was throwing the word around a lot, and if I had to have given a good definition on it, I probably couldn't. Even though about 2 years ago in 2022, after I had crash dieted, so I was under fueling and overtraining, I went to my good friend Abby, who is a naturopath. She is just incredible what she does with functional nutrition and targeted supplementation and just making lifestyle changes. And she basically told me that my metabolism was shot. And what is your metabolism in the first place? I'm going to give you a good definition that I have written down here so I don't butcher it and try to sound like somebody who knows more than I actually do. The metabolism is the conversion of food into energy. Easy enough. Which is utilized by the body for various functions, including growth, repair, and movement. And from my understanding, the food we take in gets converted into energy. The nutrients that we take in from foods are distributed throughout the body, and it makes sure that we are functioning on all cylinders, that our hormones are intact, that everything in the body is working as it should. That's also, the ability to add a little bit of weight, put on muscle, maintain a good muscle mass, maintain a good body composition, not feel tired and exhausted throughout the day. So when your hormones or when your metabolism is not functioning properly, I promise, guys, I'm going to learn how to speak. If your metabolism is not functioning properly, you're not going to be sleeping well. You're not going to be able to hold on to a good body composition, like I just said. Your workouts are going to suck, as mine did. I was actually getting super lightheaded. Like if I was sitting down for more than 5 minutes and I got up from my desk, I would get shaky and I would get woozy. And I almost fell over a couple of times. And I remember distinctly, I was just about to graduate and I was in the gym up at Dickinson where I went to college, and football season was over, but I wanted to get lean again because actually during the football season, you're not lifting as much. You're not doing a ton of physical activity. Oh, you're doing a lot of physical activity, but you're not going as hard as you do in the off season because it's all about just maintaining during the season. And so I actually packed on a little bit of pounds, and it was good. It was solid weight, but I started intermittent fasting right away, like right after the season was over, which is a horrible thing to do because I was eating at a calorie deficit, and my body was trying to heal. It was trying to repair. I had taken a freaking beating that year. I played every single snap on defense, and I played special teams for the first 6 weeks, and I was on all special teams before I was finally like, yo, coach, if you need me on if I'm going to play defense, like I can't play special teams too. But anyway, my body was trying to heal, but my metabolism was just shot. I wasn't doing it any favors. And as months went on, I did stop intermittent fasting. Like 2 days later, I ate breakfast and then went to the gym and all was fine. Because I remember I literally did like one set of goblet squats and almost passed out from a headache in the gym, and I got out of there. But metabolic health is something that I've gotten really passionate about more recently, and I just did an epic podcast with Sal DiStefano, who's the co-founder of Mind Pump and Mind Pump Media. That was last week's interview episode. So that was episode 187. I will link that in the show notes. That was a masterclass on all things metabolism, metabolic health, and optimizing it. And you hear a lot too, people saying, oh, I have a fast metabolism. You might be familiar with like a skinny person who's able to eat a ton and they never gain any weight, or somebody who says, I have a slow metabolism and they are trying to lose weight, but no matter what they do, even if they just eat rabbit food and lettuce, and eat 500 calories a day, they're still not able to lose weight or lose body fat. So when you have a fast metabolism, it means your body more efficiently takes food and turns it into energy. And again, you see those people, those skinny people, and it's like, all right, well, this kid, I remember distinctly one of my roommates in college, and he was like the skinniest out of all of us, but he would eat 5 times more. And some people just have a faster metabolism naturally. Some people have a slower metabolism naturally. I tend to fall somewhere in the middle. But when you have a slow metabolism, it doesn't just mean that you're going to be heavier set, right? Like I slowed my metabolism down and my bodily functions were just way off. Again, I didn't have the energy. My workout sucked. I couldn't recover. I wasn't sleeping well. My mood was thrown off. I couldn't put on lean muscle. I was losing weight. It was really hard to put weight back on. Just overall, not good. And so without me trying to get incredibly nerdy on the topic and the subject, I want to just give you guys real practical things that you can implement into your life if you think your metabolic health isn't where it should be and you need to heal your metabolism a little bit. Just based on my own experience. Again, I am not a doctor. I'm not a medical professional. I've done my research and I've had the personal experience of knowing what it's like to just completely wreck your metabolism and know what that feels like. But also on the flip side, now I'm sitting here talking to you guys, 196 pounds on what's today, March 28th, when I'm recording this. I'm the heaviest I've been in a while, but I'm also the healthiest I've been in a while. And I feel the best that I've been in a while. And I have been able to put on lean muscle mass over the past couple of months because I am eating more. I'm prioritizing protein. I'm prioritizing healthy fats. I am eating tons and tons of carbs, way more carbs than I'm used to, but I actually feel amazing. And I also have shared that my testosterone levels have been low on my blood work in the past. And that was, I think, partially due to being on a lower carb diet and doing intermittent fasting, both of which cannot be beneficial for your metabolism and your metabolic health. So you might see a runner, right, who is very skinny, but doesn't have a lot of muscle. And you might think, and they're just like burning through calories. But you also might think that they have a fast metabolism. In reality, those kind of people actually could have a slow metabolism. So people who have slow metabolisms, they can either hold on to a little bit more weight, or they're people who do tons and tons and tons of cardio. And the reason that they are so skinny, they don't have any muscle. Like they're skinny, but they don't have any muscle. And that's not healthy. You know, Dr. Gabrielle Lyon and lots of other very, very smart people have shown that having muscle is the key to optimal health, for longevity, for all the things. So you want a fast metabolism. If you want a fast metabolism, you're going to have to put on muscle. How do you put on muscle? You strength train, you eat, you sleep well. Pretty simple, right? So going back to the runner, when you're doing cardio, when people want to get in shape, it's so bizarre to me how in 2024 people think like, oh, I need to get in shape. I'm going to go run on the treadmill. I'm going to go walk on the treadmill. Like people, Like, come on. If you go to the gym, who are the most unhealthy looking people in the gym? Not trying to hate on anybody, but it's probably the people that are on the elliptical, on the sit down bike, pedaling very, very slowly, watching a TV show, the people hammering away on the stair climber or walking on the treadmill. And on the flip side, who are the healthiest people in the gym? It's usually the ones who are hitting the free weights. That should tell you something. The people who are constantly trying to do cardio, more cardio, more cardio, more cardio, more cardio, more cardio, less calories, less calories, less calories, all that is doing is wrecking your metabolism because your body's going into fight or flight mode. And what happens when your body goes into fight or flight mode? It's under a lot of stress. What happens when it's under a lot of stress? You're not able to make the adaptations, and your body will start to either eat away at all the muscle. That's why the people who are runners, who are very skinny, who don't have a lot of lean muscle mass, their metabolism is slow because their body is it's using the muscle as a last resort for fuel. Your body will use carbs first, so glucose as its preferred source of fuel, and then it'll tap into fats, and then it'll go into muscle. So if you're under fueling and overtraining, your body is just going to pull from whatever it has left, and that's going to be the muscle. And on the flip side, for somebody who is maybe a little bit overweight, a little bit heavier set, they could also have a slow metabolism because they are, even if they are under eating and they're overweight, they're again going to be under stress. Their body's going to be under stress. So what's going to happen? Inflammation. Your body's going to send off an inflammatory response because it thinks it's under stress. And again, you're going to hold on to that weight. If there's inflammation in the body, there's not going to be any possible way for you to lose body fat. Okay. Now that we understand that, we have to understand why it's important to have a fast metabolism and the things that you can do. I've done personally, you can implement into your life that are going to help you heal your metabolism and have better metabolic health. So what I did was I stopped overdoing it with cardio. When I found out that my metabolism was wrecked, I was running 40-ish miles a week, around 40 miles a week, and I was lifting on top of that like 5 to 6 days a week. So I started lifting 3 days a week instead of 5 to 6, and I cut back on the cardio. I actually pretty much got rid of the cardio altogether because when you're doing cardio, think about evolutionarily, right? Like our ancestors needed to be able to hold on to as much body fat and muscle as they could. Otherwise, they would have died. So if they would have had a fast metabolism back then where their body was just cooking through calories, that would have been a detriment, right? Like they would have died because their bodies were relying on much more fuel in order to function optimally. But you think about like a hunter-gatherer tribe where they might not be getting food for a couple days. They need to hold on to as much body fat as they possibly can. That's why they put on a little extra body fat and a little extra weight in the winter, or in the summer months, so that during the winter, when the food was a little bit more scarce and they weren't able to get it as frequently, they were able to hold on to more. So they actually were slowing their metabolisms down on purpose so that they didn't die. Like if you had a fast metabolism back then, it would have been an absolute detriment. But now in America, in the world we live in 2024, food is not scarce at all. One click of a button on your phone, and you've got DoorDash, you've got In-N-Out Burger, you've got pizza, you got Wendy's, you got everything, you got milkshakes coming right to your door. Right? We have to do so little. Calories are just, and energy from fuel are just so abundant. Whereas now, it's great to have a fast metabolism, right? But the way that you have a fast metabolism is you put on more muscle, because muscle requires more fuel in order to maintain, in order to grow, than it does fat. Like, I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen the pictures of, like, what 1 pound of muscle looks like versus what 1 pound of fat looks like. Like, one muscle is nice and tight and compact, and 1 pound of muscle is like very flabby and gross. So those are a couple of the things that I did to fix my metabolism, was that I stopped doing so much cardio, stopped telling my body that I was in fight or flight mode, and I started putting on muscle. I started eating way more, started eating breakfast again. That was a big one, because, again, what are you trying to prove by not eating breakfast? Like, yes, intermittent fasting and fasting can be great. It can be a great tool, but unless you're doing it for like some spiritual reason, or for some sort of, you're overcoming some sort of chronic disease or anything like that, not eating breakfast and then, like, drinking a ton of caffeine, working out fasted, that's going to wreck your metabolism again, which is going to wreck your hormones and overall just wreck your quality of life. So having a fast metabolism is what you're going to want, right? Like, again, metabolic health and your metabolism is something very new to me. And I was transparently a little nervous about doing this episode, because I haven't studied, I haven't got my, degrees and a million certifications in health, but I do know from my personal experience how beneficial and how important it is to have a healthy metabolism, and the detriments of not having one. So I really hope that this episode covered, at least the basics for you guys, right? Like, if you guys could take anything away from this podcast episode, it's that there's probably a reason that if you're working out a ton, if you're not sleeping well, if you're not losing the body fat you want, if you're not able to put on the weight that you want, if you're not able to maintain good lean body composition and good lean muscle mass, like, chances are your metabolism is all out of whack, right? And so going to Orange Theory, going to F45, going to the run groups and pounding away on the treadmill and the elliptical, like, that's not going to help your metabolism, right? Like, when you lift weights, you're burning calories for like 48 to 72 hours after. And then if you're replenishing with good proper nutrients and eating at a caloric surplus for a short period of time, just to get your metabolism back in order and to put on lean muscle, you are going to feel so much better. I promise you guys. Like, again, I was much leaner, obviously, at 182 pounds than I am right now, sitting at 196 pounds, but I feel so much better. My metabolic health is in a much better place. And I know that moving forward, yeah, there's going to be times where I want to lean out a little bit and eat at a caloric deficit, sit a little leaner, if I'm training for a race or doing a lot of endurance work, like, yeah, I'll do that. But at the end of the day, long term, I know that doing tons and tons and tons of cardio is not going to be the best thing for my health. I do it because I enjoy it. It's a great way to connect with people. It's a great way to network. It's a great way to push myself. It's a great way to explore the world. But ultimately, eating enough, sleeping enough, prioritizing your metabolic health is going to be the best thing that you can do for your overall health and your overall quality of life. So again, I am by no means a master of metabolic health, but I hope that this gave you a little bit of insight, maybe taught you something about metabolic health, and maybe, just maybe, the reason that you're not able to achieve the health and fitness goals that you're pursuing is because you need to heal and fix your metabolism. And once you do that, I promise you, you're going to feel amazing. You're going to start to look better, and your overall quality of life is going to be amplified tremendously. So if you guys enjoyed this, please subscribe to the channel. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, take a second to leave a 5-star rating and review. It really helps the show grow so that we can reach and impact more people. I love you guys. I'm so grateful for you guys. keep pursuing the best version of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Thank you guys so much for tuning into today's episode. I wanted to give you all a heads up too that I launched a free community on the Upspace app where you can join, ask me questions, connect with like-minded individuals, follow my 4-week running and strength training program that has some dedicated mobility sessions in there as well, so that we can all optimize our health and fitness together. So if you're interested, head over to the App Store, download the Upspace app, and join the Pure Ambition community today. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.